Wagwan people thems. So it's been a while that I've not been in this chair actually. So that this feels weird already. But this video is going to be a slightly different one to usual in that I'm not necessarily reacting to anything. But I did want to give you an update as to what is happening for me and my channel. So it's with the biggest and heaviest heart. I actually will be, I say stopping my channel, but it's not stopping altogether, but it will be at a much slower pace than it has been. And the reason being is that it's just no longer financially viable for me to have this space as my only source of income. If you've been with me from the beginning, like, you'll know that I started this channel whilst I was still in full-time employment. So I was working as a customer experience insight analyst for a business, and it's an industry that I really enjoyed. But the actual company I worked for, even though people were nice, like it just didn't float my boat. And I had this channel set up because I wanted a space to talk about like all the things that I love, so music, anime, TV series, movies, and it continued to grow from 2022. I was doing this like whilst working full time, and eventually it got to the point where I was like, right, this is growing, like it's really growing. I don't really love my job, so
See ya.
I think if I feel as though this is something that I can do properly, like full time, because I was starting to make some money from it. And look, this is going to be a very, very transparent video, because I think what I really want to do is make sure that, like, not only that, like, you know the full story, but also that it gives other people just the kind of things I wish I'd have known a bit more so when I was starting out. Because I think in my head I was earning some money, so I'll let you know what that was. It was around about, I'd say about 80 to 90 quid, right? And bearing in mind that the job I was in, like I was in like a good, 40 grand a year job, so I'm doing all right in that job. But I was like, well, the reason why it's only like 80 or 90 quid is because I haven't got the time, because I'm working full time, to put into this properly, to kind of get more videos out. So actually, if I do this full time, then my subscribers are continuing to grow. Like, I'll get more content out, more people will watch that. So 1 + 1 equals, I can make a livelihood. And initially, I think having the time to do more, I think definitely saw an increase in the amount of videos that was getting out. And this is only for me. I don't know about other channels or other reaction channels, because for me, I kind of didn't want to be put in a box. I didn't want to just do one type of reaction. I was like, there's lots of things I want to react to, because there's lots of things I love. So in my head, I was like, if someone comes to my channel, like, they're enjoying me reacting to whatever it is. What I came to learn is that even though there probably is a portion of it being me that's reacting to it, a bigger portion is that I'm reacting to something that people love already. So that might be a movie franchise that's like Harry Potter, or it might be an artist like Gabrielle and Hiki or Dimash or Beyonce. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're coming to me for like reacting to everything. It's the fact that I'm reacting to the thing that they like. So for example, if you love Beyonce, like, and I'm reacting to Beyonce, like, you might be like, okay, that's great, like, he's reacting to da 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 da. But then if I then go and react to Barbara Streisand, like, as much as you might have liked me doing a reaction to Beyonce, it might not be that you care at all about Barbara Streisand. So when you think about like the algorithm and how YouTube works, like YouTube, the main purpose of YouTube is to keep people on the platform. They want you to be here for as long as possible. So their only goal is to see, well, the next video that you put out, are people wanting to watch that? So the reason I'm trying to explain this is because I don't know whether I would have understood this unless I was doing YouTube. And again, you only learn some of this the more that you go into it. So in one hand, I've got my subscribers that are growing, which is amazing, because you've got to think as well, for like I consider YouTube videos as long form content. So you've got TikTok, which is like, your snappy 1 minute, 2 minute or whatever, like very, very short videos. But then YouTube is longer. And obviously, there's a lot more people watching YouTube now than ever before. So a lot of people will say that, like, is it saturated? Is it a saturated market? And well, yeah, there's a lot of people on the platform, but there's also a lot more people watching YouTube over like watching TV or, you know, streaming platforms and stuff. So again, YouTube want to keep people on this platform for as long as possible. So just say, for example, I've done a Dimash reaction, okay? And again, my channel isn't just a Dimash channel, it's a reaction channel. So imagine that, like, you've subscribed to my channel because of Dimash, right? So that was the last video that I did. But then the next video that I decided I'm going to do is I'm going to react to Fantasia Barrino, the lady who won American Idol, right? So say I'm going to react to her. Now, the last time you came to my channel, I was reacting to Dimash. So when I then put this reaction to Fantasia out onto YouTube, obviously YouTube will look to push it out to all my subscribers and be like, oh, Luke, you know, Room to 703 has just reacted to this video. But if you're only bothered about Dimash, and A, you don't know who Fantasia is, or B, you just don't care about that because the only thing you want to watch is Dimash, then you're not going to watch that Fantasia Barrino video. And then that says to YouTube, oh, this video is no good. So therefore, it will stop pushing it out. So then that pretty much kind of kills off your video. And obviously, people aren't watching that. Because I often get people saying, like, I can't believe that this video hasn't got more views. But it's because I don't have a specific... Like, I thought having a reaction channel was specific enough, but it isn't. Like, so you got some people who are like, I don't know, all they do is how to make money online, or tutorial videos, or fishing videos, or unboxing videos. Like, it's the same thing each time. But because mine, even though it's a reaction, it's not the same thing each time. It's different. It could be a movie, like, you know, I'm reacting to Heartstoppers still at the moment. And then previous to that, I was reacting to X-Men, the new animated series, X-Men 97. And then previous to that, like, I was reacting to Hidden Figures. So in the grand scheme, it is a reaction channel, but it isn't like, I'm not just reacting to, say, Whitney Houston all the time. So that's a problem, right? So, and I think that's always been a bit of an issue for me because I said I didn't want to be put in a box, but it has meant that it's been quite difficult then to maintain that. There are just so many artists that I react to, and it isn't just one of them. So I've got the algorithm to contend with. I've then got also the expectation of my viewers, because ultimately they want to see the things that they came to my channel for. Whilst they can be patient, at the same time, they're like, well, I came for this and I'm seeing this.
You can't stay, you gotta go. Ain't no other chick spinning your dough.
And the problem that I have is because it's just me, I don't have a team, I don't have any editors or whatever, it all falls down to me to do the recording, to do the editing, and it just takes so much time. And I think that's the thing for me to be making, even now, like I'll show you my last payment from AdSense, to be making that a month, like, as much, and let me just say, I am truly grateful that anyone ever stopped to watch my channel, like, ever, at any point, because there are so many other people that you could have chosen to watch. So I never take that for granted. And you know, at the end of the day, if you weren't watching, because one of the things you'll often find in my videos is that I will now be like, oh, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. And at the end of my video, I always say, oh, and as well, if you do want any extra access to my reactions before anybody else, then do head over to Patreon. And if you know me personally, in my friends and stuff, like, you'll know that, like, I do not like asking anyone for anything. Like, I like to just be self-sufficient and do what I'm doing. But I know that the nature of YouTube is that you have to ask those kind of things. And it was getting to the point, and it has got to the point where, like, I was in such need of that support, because I'm like, this is my only source of income. And there's no, like, disrespect to, you know, anyone that is on a lower income or anything like that, but, like, that is just not enough for me to be able to live a life on at all, like, to cover my bills, to do anything nice, to, like, you know, the last year and a half, a lot of my friends will know that, like, I've not been able to do a lot of things because I just can't afford to do it. But in the same vein, I can see that my channel is growing in terms of subscribers. But hopefully you can understand now that actually it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, really. It matters about how many people are watching your videos and how consistently they're watching that. You know, if you're getting like, you know, tens of thousands of views on your videos each time you put a video out, like you might not have 1,000 subscribers. Well, you need 1,000 subscribers to be part of the AdSense program. But say you've got 2,500 subscribers, but like each video you put out is getting you 10, 15, 20,000, 50,000 views. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. It doesn't matter. Like having the subscriber count is good because it kind of like, I don't know, it gives you that kind of like, you know, oh, they're a bit more certified because, you know, it's not just one subscriber. But having had one subscriber and now having near enough 25, like I haven't changed. Like it's still me. Like, I mean, so I think I'd be the exact same if I had 100,000 subscribers or 300,000 subscribers. It would still be me and how I'm doing my channel. But it just means that, you know, sponsorships would probably be easier because you are bigger, and people probably feel a little bit more like, okay, they're a legit channel because they've got quite a few subscribers. But aside from that, the main thing really is about people watching and actually watching your videos. So I think if I had my time again, I think I probably would just find, I mean, it's difficult even to say music reactions, really, and I'll get onto the difficulty of that in a moment. But like even finding, like there are some channels out there. I'm gonna pick Beyonce because that's like my favorite artist. All they do videos about is Beyonce. So you know you're gonna get a Beyonce related video, like whether it's a touring, whether it's her live performances, her interviews, whatever it is. You know that channel is just Beyonce. And I've always thought like, I mean, yeah, you could do that. And it's no offense to anyone who does do that, by the way, like more power to you. But I think for me, I was like, as much as I love Beyonce, I wouldn't want to just be a Beyonce channel. Like I'd like the whole purpose of this for me was to find out about new things and new artists and new performances I've not heard yet and old time things that I've not seen yet. And, you know, I've learned so much on this, in this space and on this channel from you guys, that I wouldn't want it to just be one thing. But at the same time, like, as I said, the algorithm will punish you for that because it's not everything that's new that somebody wants to see. Like they want to see what they want to see. That makes sense. So yeah. So if I had my time again, like, would I consider maybe having one thing? Maybe. I don't know. The other thing of like, I know deep down that like there are probably some niche topics that probably would be more popular than what I do. Because the thing is, I often think, what does someone think about a reaction channel? Because some people are like, well, realistically, like you're not providing any content. Like, do you mean like you're just talking about other people's content? And actually, when I got into this, like I didn't really understand about reactions. Really, like I didn't really understand the appeal. It's only through Seb Screen, and I mention him in pretty much every video because if it wasn't for him and the initial interaction I had with him, I probably would never have started a channel because I started watching some Harry Potter reactions because I love Harry Potter. And then I came across his reactions as someone had never seen them. And watching his journey through them was sick. I'm like, it's like me watching it for the first time, but watching you watch it, like, and you kind of feel like, I don't know, it's not like, I'm very, very lucky that I've got a lot of great people in my life. But in that moment, you kind of just feel like you're not watching it on your own. Like you're watching something that you enjoy, but you're watching it with someone else who's also like enjoying it, or at least talking about it and giving their opinion and stuff. I just got really bought into that. And it was kind of like, you kind of get to know this person and you kind of enjoy them and their journeys and stuff. And like, I just thought, well, do you know what? I think I could do that. I think that's something that, you know, a lot of my friends will always say that like, oh, there's a certain aura around you. And, you know, that is a huge compliment, like such a massive compliment. And I guess in my head, I was like, well, if I can take my love for music and my interest for music and bring that same aura that people tell me that I have and put it on a platform that people enjoy, hopefully that means that people will enjoy with me as well, and it can continue to grow just as I did with Seb. Anyway, so that's the reason why I decided to do it and why I think reaction channels are great. And actually, vidIQ, which is a channel that I follow, which really helps to kind of like say, you know, what you need to do and you know, just gives you like really good advice and stuff. They put a report out not even that long ago just saying that I think YouTube released some some stats to say that basically reaction channels are still king. Like when people come to YouTube, one of the things that they love watching are reaction channels. And so I was like, do you know what? If the stats are still saying that, then actually I'm gonna take some pride in what I do. And notwithstanding as well that like with my reactions, I feel as though that like there is commentary there. Like I'm giving like particular like breakdowns about the visuals, the symbolism, the actual vocal abilities and what that does and how that makes me feel when I'm listening to that. So articulating what it is I'm watching and trying to give a good breakdown of that too. So it isn't just a case I'm just sitting there being like, yeah, like, subscribe, guys. Like, because who wants to watch that? So I think there's a validity in reaction channels, like, and I think there's a lot of people watching them, and that's why again I've continued, because I'm like, I feel that as it'll continue to grow. But like I said, it just hasn't moved. The dial hasn't moved at all, and you know, I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, I don't even want to be like, don't get me wrong, if someone was like, Luke, here's a load of money, okay, thank you, sir. But like, I don't even want to be stupid rich. I just want to be like well off enough that I can afford my bills, like, so I know what's coming each month and that's sorted. I can take care of my mum, you know, like, which I know she doesn't need me to take care of her, but I want to do that. And I can go to the world a little bit, have some more content, like have enough money to kind of like, I say, farm out some of the editing, just enough money to do what I love, because I love this space, and to do that for as long as possible. But it just hasn't been possible. So, yeah, I've had to make the decision really that now is probably the best time. And I said before I went to Ibiza, when I come back, I think I'm going to have to stop my channel. But as I said, I'm not going to stop it altogether. Like, I love it too much to get rid of it altogether. But it just means that my reactions will be a lot more like sporadic as to when I can do it, because I know what it was like when I was working full time to do my channel. I know there's people out there that do. And again, more power to them. I don't know how you do it. Like, you know, I've tried so many different ways to try and cut things up and but it just doesn't seem to be an answer that isn't an easy one. So I did tell my Patreon members before I went to Ibiza, so they already know. And again, I cannot stress enough, like, you know, my frustration at this not being or not working the way that I hoped it would do is in no way a reflection on the support and the love that so many of you have shown me here. Like, you know, you ask my friends and stuff, like, I can still get a little bit embarrassed about my channel a little bit, because I'm just like, oh, you know, a lot of my friends are doing like these big corporate jobs and these big managers with this and and I'm like, I'm trying to build a YouTube channel, like, what? But genuinely, I am so proud of what I've managed to achieve here, because, you know, having one subscriber and not going down the route, like, I've often thought like, oh, maybe if I do some of the things that I know people are going to be searching for all the time, you know, like the salacious kind of like Hollywood gossip and even like the political stuff, like everyone's, you know, there's always something happening with America, or everywhere at the moment. And I was like, I just don't want to do that though. Like, I like the fact that my space is pretty positive. Like, it takes a lot for me to not like a song. It takes a lot. But in the main, I like talking about the art, and I also don't like talking about people. Like, I don't like to make things personal, because at the end of the day, like, none of us are perfect. Do you know what I mean? And it's just because someone is in the public eye, and yes, okay, you got that balance of, well, that's what you signed up for. But, you know, they're still a person, and I don't want to be, as much as I might, you know, delve into a little bit of the gossip here and there, you know, like, you know, my ear's been to the floor when it comes to Diddy, like, all that stuff with Blake Lively and Justin Bastoni. Like, you know, I like to keep abreast of what's going on, but I don't want to be one of the people, one of the vulturistic people that are like profiting off anybody's misery, of picking anyone apart. Like, I would much prefer to look at someone's artistry and see how did that make me feel, and talk about that. Like, that I think is cool. And to know that like there's other people that have then joined me on that, and have like awesome stuff to say, like even to the point where the artists that I'm reacting to have seen my reactions and commented. Like, I never forget like Stan Walker's team reaching out to me being like, listen, when we're in the UK, you holler, you let us know, you know, bring your friends, bring your family, like come to one back. Like, that is incredible to me. Like, it's just like, what from me deciding to start to do a chat, like, so as much as like the monetary amount each month has meant that like this is the brokest I've ever been, like in terms of the experience I've had, it has been incredible. So in that regard, again, I'm really, really proud of that, and I'm happy that I didn't decide to pivot and do something that, you know, I know can make money or whatever, but it doesn't sit right with my soul, you know. And I found some amazing art. Ren. So this brings me on to my next point. So the other reason why it's probably a really good idea for me to kind of take a bit of a step back from this is, at the moment, when it comes to reaction channels, there seems to be a little bit of a war going on, like between like UMG, which is like one of the biggest music companies like on the planet, and them being very, very, I wouldn't call it robust, like quite aggressive in how they are going after reaction channels in particular. So I have explained this in previous videos before, but in case you've never known how this whole, like how you make money off YouTube or all that kind of stuff, I'm going to whiz through this in a very quick breakdown. So when I react to a song, or anything actually, a song, movie, like anything at all, and I go to upload it onto YouTube, one of the things that YouTube will do is it's got this automatic like checking system. I can't remember what it's called, but it will check as you're uploading to see whether or not what the content is, if there's any copyrighted material in there. So if it's a movie that's got a soundtrack in it, or if it's just a straight artist singing or whatever, it will look to see if there's any copyrighted material. If there is, there are a few options that will come up straight away. So before you've even set it live, like there are a few options that will come up. So it'll say, oh, a copyright claim has been found on this upload. The copyright owner, so say for example, we're talking about UMG. Say it's a song, right? So UMG as the music company that owns the rights to that song. So it might be one of your favorite artists, but the actual person or organization that owns the rights to it is the music company. It'll say that UMG has got a copyright claim against what you just uploaded. So it'll either say it's blocked, so no one can see it, like no one's going to see it, you can't make any money from it, it's blocked off the internet. Or it'll say, oh, there is a copyright claim on here, you can use it, but you cannot make any money off it. Or it'll say it is copyrighted, but actually the copyright owner is happy to share whatever profits you make on it, so you can both share it equally. Or it'll come up and say there's no copyright claims found at all, so you're just free to earn off it yourself. And the way that you earn on YouTube is through something called AdSense. So Google AdSense pays you, like there'll be adverts that are on your video, either midway through or on the side or underneath, or, you know, I say actually in the video itself. And when those adverts come up, get paid for those basically. So the more people watch your videos and the more ads that are on there, etc., that's how you get paid. When you react to something that's copyrighted, it's basically saying that you cannot, if they're not going to let you anyway, it's basically saying that you can't make any money off that video, which in itself is like, I've gone through all that trouble, I've done all that recording and all that editing and then I upload it and I can't even earn anything off it. In fact, people can't even see it because you've blocked it. Right, so what you can do is do like a dispute the claim. So, and there's lots of options as to why you can dispute the claim. The one I use is because it's a reaction channel, and there's something called fair use. We've got fair use legislation in the UK. We've also got fair use legislation in the US. And basically, what it says is that if you're and this is not legal advice, by the way, so do your own research, but this is just a very quick overview. But if you are using someone else's copyrighted content and you transform it into something else, then realistically it's fair to use. And I would always say that I don't stop and start my videos. I know some people do that, so that, you know, there'll be a line of a song, you stop and you analyze, another line of a song, you stop and you analyze. I will listen to the whole song, like the whole of it, and then I will do my review. So in my eyes, and I've never gone to court for it, but you know, this is what I would argue, is that, well, the video that you're clicking on, that 3-minute video, when you click on my video, you're not getting a 3-minute video, because whilst that content is in there, what you're also getting in my video is a breakdown about what I thought about that video, the review and commentary. So in that regard, it's a very, very grey line, and there's always been this kind of flying through the grey line area about copyright and stuff, and naturally, I don't want to take anything away from someone. You know, if you've worked really hard on your songs or your albums or your movies and stuff, and then someone just comes along being like, right, I'm gonna make money off what you've done, I completely understand why. Well, that belongs to you. But at the same time, if someone is reviewing your work, because I find it really difficult, right, to review something that I haven't just appreciated in its entirety. And I think in terms of something that's enjoyable, I think it's nice to kind of, even if you've listened to it before, to kind of like re-listen to it and to see what my reaction is to listening to it live, and then what my thoughts are. That to me is an entertaining video. Just talking about it alone, like say a song for example, yeah, you could, but I just think it's a bit dry. I don't, maybe that's just me, but I just think it's a bit dry. So I've never had a problem with that, because in my eyes, I'm talking about the artist, I'm talking about the song. It's furthering a conversation, whether I like it, whether I don't. It's furthering conversation. We're talking about the artist, so it's, in essence, it's like free marketing for that artist, that business, that movie, that series, whatever. We're talking about it. So I've never really understood the problem as to why people wouldn't allow that. And why I mentioned Ren is because when I first started reacting to him, he released the claim. So the claim comes up automatically, and I'm guessing him and his people will see that and be like, no, it's fine. Like, actually, I didn't understand this at the time, but like, he actively is quite happy for reactors to earn their coin on the back of it. And I guess it's because he's also an independent, and he understands like what this music industry game is like. Because as I said, I didn't know anything about this whole UMG thing until very recently. And I saw that a channel, this guy called Knox, he does like these rap reviews and stuff. And I've seen a few of his videos, and he's really, really cool. And I really, really like his breakdowns and stuff. And he's got like 1.5 million subscribers. Like, he's got loads. And I think over the last week or whatever, he's been hit with, I don't know what the update has been, but he was hit with like 7 like legal takedowns basically. So you've got your dispute claim, like I mentioned earlier. They've got 30 days in which to kind of come back to you. If they don't come back to you, the claim's released and you can earn money from it. If they reject your claim, you've then got the option to take it further and be like, well, I'm going to appeal this. But if you lose that appeal, you get given a strike. You only get 3 strikes on YouTube before your account's gone. You can't make a new one. Like, it's gone. 3 copyright strikes, which is different to copyright claim, and your account is done. That's it. So imagine you've been building a business for, you know, a couple of years or whatever, and then you get these copyright strikes and it's gone. So in my head, I've always been like, a business doesn't need to do that. Like, you know, if you want to block it, fair enough. If you want me to take it down, fair enough. But you don't need to give me a strike, because that's going to affect my longevity on this platform. So what UMG are doing, and what's happened to Knox, who's got this huge account and stuff, is that they've served him with legal takedown requests. So they've bypassed the copyright claim part, and it's like, nah, you need to take this ish down now. And actually, you got 7 days, and these things are coming through, which means that if they all land on the same day, that's his account gone. So I do need to find out what's happened, because that was Friday. When I checked on Saturday, I didn't see that, well, his account was still there. So I don't know what the outcome of that has been. But UMG are aggressively going after, allegedly, from what I can see on the internet, are going after a lot of these people that have, you know, reacted to their artists and stuff. And because there's such a huge organization, there are so many artists and so many songs that are linked to UMG. So I'm looking at all this, bearing in mind that like I'm not earning that much from it anyway, and it's so much like time and effort and everything else. And I'm like, well, the majority of what I react to is music. At some point, like that, I'm sure that I will be in the crosshairs for this. It just feels like the right time to be looking at something else. So it's sad. It is really, really sad. And like I said, I'm a little bit gutted, because I love this space, and I will always, always champion reactions and reviews, because I remember someone saying to me recently in one of my videos, they were like, do not put down the importance of what you do. She said, you know, I'm married, I've got kids, I've got loads of friends and stuff, but actually sometimes the interests I have, they don't have. And being able to kind of come on here and to delve into things that I love, and to see you, like your smiley face and your energy, it makes me feel as though I'm not as alone with that. It just hit me. I was like, do you know what? That's exactly what it is. Like, you know, this whole social media thing, in terms of like what it can be used for and what sometimes it is used for, is so extremely negative. And yet there's a space here that I've managed to cultivate with some of the artists I found out about, and some of the cool things that you've told me about. I'm able to extend my reach and that aura, like, that people tell me about, to people that like I would never have met or would never have known otherwise. And not just for my own selfish, like I'm learning more about music and I'm finding more about different artists and different journeys, and but that's one side. Even just knowing that I'm able to put a smile on someone's face like that is just incredible to me. So I could never get rid of it altogether, even though, like I said, it doesn't financially serve me, but it serves my soul. It serves my soul. And you know, maybe by having a job doing something that like I don't love, it will still allow me the space and the time to have something like this on the side. And who knows what the future might bring. You know, this door isn't completely closed. It's just that I have to do something else, because I just cannot afford to live like this. You know, and I know that a lot of my friends and family are going to be really happy, because I'm in this space a lot, trying to get as much out as much as I can, and I genuinely have tried. So I'm really, really sorry, guys, if there's anyone that's like, what do you mean? But at the same time, I will never ever regret this. Am I in the best financial position? No. Do I know what the future holds in terms of like job prospects? No. But will I always look back on this time as doing something that I was really, really scared to do, and really like, but what if it doesn't work? What doesn't work? Am I proud of myself for taking that gamble and diving off the cliff and just seeing 100%? There's definitely things that I would probably do a little bit differently, and there's loads of things that I've learned. What would say my top 3 things are? The first would be definitely make sure that if you do decide you're going to do a channel, that it's something that you love. Like, if it's a topic that you don't really love, yeah, you will just get burnt out. You'll get burnt out and you won't care. And I think it's really obvious when people see me, when I turn on this camera, it's very, very obvious that I love what I do. Yeah, I love what I do. So I think that's really, really important, because in those days when you're just so spent, or, you know, you're not earning or whatever, it's that love for what you do that will bring you back to your chair. The second thing I'd probably say is, a mistake for me, I don't think I should have left my job when I did. I think if I'd stayed, like, it might have meant I needed to scale back what I was doing on my channel, but it would have meant that I still had a steady stream of income coming in, that everything else has been taken care of, and therefore, like, there wasn't as much pressure on my channel, because I think that is where I've got myself into a bit of a financial issue. But that was because I thought my channel would like overtake what I was making through my job. But I think had I not done that, and actually been able to save up some, again, you don't know these things until you're actually doing it, but save up some money so that I can actually farm out my editing, I think the machine would have been like slicker, and I would have got through more things more quickly, more people would have been watching it. Like, but because I didn't have that, and each video is still stuck. Imagine, you know, if you're doing like a movie reaction, yeah, like that's like 2.5 hours long, and you're going to get that edited down to 20 minutes, 25 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes max, really. Then, you know, the time that it takes to kind of get that, bearing in mind that you want to keep in all the parts where your reactions are, you know, enjoyable and entertaining and stuff, and all the bits of the movie that probably people are going to want to see. Well, what did you think about that particular part though? That can take such a long time. Like, and when you're not just doing movie reactions, and you're doing TV series reactions, and you've got the song reactions to do, as well as the anime reactions to do, and also make sure that these things are on Patreon as well as doing, as I say, the editing, the SEO optimization. Make sure you've got all those things on different platforms, for TikTok, for Instagram, for YouTube Shorts. Make sure you've got your thumbnails done correctly. Like, there are so many things that come with just putting a video up there, notwithstanding engaging with your audience as well. And if you like me, like, I don't like to just be like, yeah, thumbs up, whatever. I like to talk to my peeps. So like all of that, and you've got the editing to do, is really difficult. So I think having some kind of fund or something like that to help, like, you know, get the editing done, and then you can just focus on the recording and uploading. I think that would definitely be something for me as well. So that would be a good thing to think about. I guess the other thing that I wish that I had, which I never really have had really, is I wish there was like a group of YouTubers that you could contact and speak to, and you know, just to soundboard some things that you're doing to, like, you know, is this how you did this? Like, did this make sense for you? vidIQ has been really awesome as something to kind of help, like, just have something. And they've got an app. I think vidIQ are brilliant. The app is brilliant. I think their AI suggestions are really good. So I'd always recommend vidIQ. But I do wish there was more. You know, if you're in an organization and stuff, like, you've got people to bounce off. You've got, you know, what did you do with that? Did you do that? You know, you've got some kind of consortium in which to kind of speak to. This can feel a little bit lonely in that regard, because you don't have anyone to say, well, is this right? Like, you know, I had no idea, like, if you watch my first video compared to my most recent one, you'll see that, like, they're very different. Because I didn't have no clue what I was doing. Like, and even now, I still won't say that I'm an expert at all. Like, but, you know, I've seen how some things can work well, and I've seen how some things can really not work well. But yeah, those are the kind of things I'd say is, like, try and reach out to as many different sources as you can if they're available, like, if you can find them. I guess the last thing, I said top 3, but the last thing I would say is, if it's in your heart to do it, just friggin' do it. Just do it. Like, the worst that can happen is that it's out there, people see it, you can learn from it and do a better one. But there's a lot of, you know, as soon as I get the best camera, as soon as I get the best this, like, just do it. Just do it. Just get it out there and just be bold. Just be bold, and to be yourself as well. That's the other thing. Like, there is absolutely no way that I could get on here and not be myself, like, at all. Like, everything that, like, you see is, and I'm so happy that when people do find out I've got a channel, they're like, look, it's like I'm just talking to you, like, because I couldn't be any way out, like, any other way. Do you know what I mean? That's hands on, like, that's just me. Do you know what I mean? So I'd recommend the same to anyone else, because you can't hide who you are on this camera, like, at all. Like, people will see that, and people buy into your sincerity, your authenticity, and it's just better. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to get on here and trying to be anything else but myself, because it just be whack, whack and stressful. So yeah, so those are my kind of tips. But definitely be keeping abreast of what's happening with the UMG situation. Like I said, I'm not, like, gone all together. Like, you know, my channel will still be here, and I'll still be reacting to things as and when I can. It just means that it just won't be as regular as it has been, because I got to find a job. But honestly, if you've got this far in the video, if you've got this far into watching with me still over since 2022, I am so incredibly grateful that you are. And I hope that, you know, when my name does pop up, that you still, you know, want to give me a little watch and stuff. I'd really appreciate that. But for all of the love, like I said before, all the love, all the time that you spent laughing with me or dancing with me, laughing at me, whatever, like, thank you so much for just pressing play and just giving me a chance. Like, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I will be forever grateful for the time that I've had here. And if this is it, cool. But I hope it's not. But if it is, like, honestly, my soul is full. It really is. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this video, then of course do drop me a like and subscribe. I'll be very, very grateful for that. And again, my Patreon will still be up as well. So if you do decide that you want to, you know, find out what's going on in my life, because I'll still be posting to Patreon about just my life and stuff. So if you do want to head over there, that'd be great. But yeah, thank you again so much. And I hope to see you on the next one.